Hello my crafty friends. Today I'm going to show you how to make this modern Victorian Christmas card. I'm going to be using this dome, and then for my card I'm going to use a piece of patterned paper and then pink and also gold cardstock onto this card base, and then on the inside a piece of white cardstock as well as pink cardstock and a piece of patterned paper. Next, I'm going to take this circle die and I'm going to die cut out these little girls that are ice skating. And then I'm going to take that same circle die and I'm going to add a smaller one and tape that together. And then I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. And then that way it gives me this sliver circle that's going to trim out my dome. Just like that. Next, I'm going to take my cardstock, my base cardstock, and this is 110 pound white cardstock. And then I'm going to glue this pink cardstock on top. And then as well as that, I'm going to add the gold and the pattern piece right on top of that. Now when I put this down, I want to make sure that there is an equal border around that card base. So that the pink shows. Next, I'm going to take this lace ribbon and I'm going to measure out a small portion, cut that, and then I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac and I'm going to glue that down. And I've always found that Fabri-Tac always works best for me. Anytime I have like some sort of trim or something that I need to glue, that seems like the only glue that seems to work. Now that I have that on there, I'm going to take this dome and I'm going to add my sequin mixes. So I'm just showing you a couple little things that I'm adding in. I have pink sequins and white and snowflakes, and then I'm going to add it all into that dome. And then next I'm going to put a small portion of glue all the way around that dome, and then very gently place that piece on top and press that down so that nothing's going to spill out. And typically I don't glue anything or move that shaker until it's completely dry, but for the sake of this video I'm just going to show you that I'm just going to put it on there. And then I glue that down to the card. And then I take that pink circle that I had die cut out and I put glue on that, and then very carefully I'm going to lower that down and glue that down. Now that that's on there, I'm going to take this pink flower that has like gold on the trim, and there are pink pearls in the center, and then I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac and glue that flower down. And after that's glued down, I'm going to take some ephemera or ephemera and I'm going to take my foam squares and I'm going to put that on the back of those. Right there are roses that I'm going to put down. And I'm going to put that on the corner of the card, and I know it's going to like overhang, but I kind of like it because I know that I'm not going to be sending these cards out because, I think it would be pretty expensive to mail something out like that, to tell you the truth. So I thought, well, this is a hop, so I'm going to have fun. So right now I'm putting some holly leaves around that flower. And this holly leaf, I was trying to figure out where it goes. So I realized I think I'd like it together with the other one. So I put a piece of foam tape on that and I glued that down as well. And then the last piece, it's holly, and then there's also berries with this. So I like the look of that too, so I decided to put that on as well. And next I'm going to grab ribbon, and I'm deciding which ribbon I want, the pink or the blue. And I decided to go with the blue because the other one has pink. So now I'm just going to fiddle with this bow until I get it to the size that I like. And then I'm going to trim the tails. And then I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac and glue that bow down onto the lace. And you'll see that I spot a little star that's like pearlized in that mix that's right there. And I'm like, ooh, that would look nice on that blue ribbon. So I decided to grab that out of there and use my Fabri-Tac once again. And I put that down. And then I decided to stamp what goes on the inside of my card. So I push my card aside and let that dry a little bit. And then I like to take a piece of scrap paper and stamp on that to make sure my stamp is going to stamp really well. And then I know you can't tell, but I just stood up and I feel like I could stamp a lot better when I stand and look down. So I stamped that, and then I'm going to take that, it's a cardstock actually, and I'm going to glue this portion into the card. So I'm going to stack these pieces first. And then I get my card, and then I glue that to the inside. And I look at it and I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm missing something. And so I decided to add a little rose on the inside. At the end of this video, I have a picture of both cards that I had created. I put a number 1 and a 2 beside each one. Tell me which ones you like, and let me know. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.